Welcome back. Good morning. I'm Carrie and this is Keep It Simple DIY. We are doing fall inspired meals this week. They're not exactly fall flavors, but it is cold. And so these are some warm and cozy meals. So I'm going to be making some meatloaf for, oops, something's beeping. Oh, that's my coffee. I'm doing some half roasted, not half roasted, half caffeine coffee. We're doing meatloaf today and I'm just going to use some of these potatoes and I'm just gonna put them in the air fryer. It's gonna be super simple, and because the meatloaf is already pre-made from my freezer meal video, I will link that down below. I'm just going to stick that in the air fryer as well, and we will have a really easy dinner. I also have some green beans here, and I need to go harvest, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it today because it's supposed to be, I think, 65, which it was 90 for months and months. And about 4 days ago, it dipped down below 90 for the first time, and so it's cold. So here is the coffee. We'll come back to that. Well, I'll come back to that. You don't need the coffee. I need to go and get what we want to eat for dinner tomorrow. So I am going to make some pork back ribs tomorrow. Whoa, there goes the cat. Because it's just the perfect time of year for that, and you need the oven on for a long time. The way that I cook it is so delicious. It's like a slow roast for 2-3 hours. And I always like to do it on a day that we're both home. I don't ever want the oven going when we're not home. So let's bring it upstairs and get it thawing out. And then I will bring you with today as we make the meatloaf. All right, we are getting started on dinner. I am just docking some potatoes. I picked out some equally sized potatoes out of my big bunch of potatoes that I grew in the garden, and I'm now just spraying them with some oil, adding some salt. I've made potatoes like this once before in my air fryer, and it is so easy. Now on this day, I'm just hoping that I can get all of those to fit inside because I have a lot of things I'm trying to put inside the Ninja at once. So here we go. We're adding a meatloaf in, and this meatloaf I prepared in a freezer meal, so it was super convenient to have it ready. Now I did think about it, about if I wanted to add foil to it, and I didn't do it. And then you'll see a little bit later that we definitely should have added foil because the top gets a little bit dark, but it didn't taste burned at all, which is great. So these are some veggies from my garden, and I have just been so impressed with how much veggies have been coming out of the garden this year. So I am going to cook up both the peas and the green beans together because there's not really enough of either of them to be on their own. And then we will see how this dinner comes together. So there's where you can see the little bit of dark, and I'm just adding all of the sauce, which I also prepped and put into the freezer because then it's just ready to go. It's just some ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, and brown sugar. And then these cook up so fast. All I have to do here is just let them get blistered, and then we're done. And it's time to start plating up the meal. So this is my husband's favorite meal, and it's actually one of my favorite meals as well because it's just so delicious. It's my mom's meatloaf, and you'll notice that I have 2 extra potatoes, and we will use those for the next night. But this is just one of those warm and cozy fall and winter meals, and I prepped these meals back in December, and it had been a while since we'd eaten them, and I was like, why are these still in my fridge? We went through Shelftember, we didn't eat them. Well, it's because of the weather. So now that it's a little bit cooler, we can have these warm and cozy meals instead of more of a light summery meal. So I'm super happy with how this dinner turned out, despite it looking a little bit burnt on the top. It still tasted delicious as normal, and we were able to have a little bit of leftover potatoes for the next night. Of course, I'm using just country crock instead of regular butter because my butter was in the fridge and not softened, and that's okay. We don't always have to use the regular butter. But here it is. Dinner was fantastic. Good morning. It is a new day. Today is the day for ribs. We will make those up in a little bit. I thought I'd show you a quick grocery haul because this is the first time I've done a grocery haul since the pantry challenge, and it's not everything. We did buy 5 packages of bacon at the store one day because they were on sale for $3.99 a pound, and then I did buy 8 packages of flour from Amazon. The flour was $2.01 a pound is what it came out to. Not a pound, a package, a 5-pound package. So let me show you everything that I got. Okay, here's a quick overview. So it's fall, so I kind of have a bunch of fall things, just some taco seasoning to stock up. We're out of burritos and tortillas, so we need to stock up on those as well and make some more. Some cheese for the freezer, some tater tots, because a lot of fall recipes have tater tots, and that looks delicious. I have 2 pepperonis, but I didn't know if that'd be enough because I plan on doing a big pizza making day or like pizza style things. I opened my last salt when we had the sourdough party, so I needed more. And then, you know, all the fall favorites, the pumpkin, the cranberry. I have 1 pumpkin left, but I feel like that's not enough. I have a little bit of enchilada sauce because I saw a soup that looked good, so hopefully I remember to make that soup. And then a little Alfredo because I just like having baked Alfredos. These are for my husband. And then I got some spray, some diced green chilies because I am completely out. I ran out of those in Pantry Challenge. And maple syrup because it's maple syrup season. Last time I bought the little one and things are calling for a lot more than that now. I did get some cream cheese because, of course, baking season, and cinnamon chips. So I can't have chocolate chips this year, but I thought cinnamon chips would be great in a lot of things. And I actually looked for them a little bit earlier, but didn't see them. So now that I did, I bought 3. And then I have ham and salami because for the pizza day, I want to do a stromboli. And then I did get 2 things of juice because I am hosting that sourdough party again. So I do also plan on going out to the garden today because I haven't been out there in probably a week and a half. It's been a little bit cooler. It's not 90 degrees every day. It was actually like 65 for a while yesterday, which was so cold compared to how it's been. But I'm gonna go out and harvest, and then I will show you everything that I get out of the garden because that's where our fresh produce is coming from. It is time to get the ribs in the oven. I am going to make the rub first. I am preheating the oven to 300 degrees. This is a very low and slow process. So I have my recipe right here. I'm going to add some paprika, about 2 tablespoons, and I am just going to eyeball all of the spices. And we'll do about a tablespoon of black pepper. This is such a good recipe. We've made this so many times, and I'm not one to usually want to repeat recipes, but with this, I did. We've made this a lot. Every time we do ribs, this is how we do it. It's our favorite way. I need 2 teaspoons of coarse salt, a teaspoon of garlic powder, which I accidentally just put onion powder in my garlic powder, and then I tried to move it back to the onion powder, and it was kind of a disaster. So we'll do a teaspoon of onion powder as well, and I'm going a little heavy on those because, you know, I'm not quite sure what's in them. I need teaspoon of cumin, and cumin is very strong flavor, so I don't want to overdo it. Teaspoon of chili powder, and half a teaspoon of dry mustard, and the only thing left is some brown sugar. And I actually really like the mustard in there, so I'm going to add a little more than it calls for. And brown sugar, we need 3 tablespoons. And I keep my brown sugar in the freezer. It keeps it very soft. This does not dry out. Of course, like, it's a little hard when it's frozen, but it works out perfectly. Okay. So now I need to mix this together and then get out the ribs. All right, let's get this mixed up. I am going to wrap the ribs up during most of the cooking process, all of the 3 hours. Just at the end, we'll open it and we'll put the sauce on, and we'll broil it. So let's get out the ribs. Okay. Glad I remembered that. Now let's get this out. Trying to keep all the juice in the bottom. All right. So let's just sprinkle this over the top. And I think I want to do a little bit on the bottom side as well. Just a smidgen. I'm going to fold in, over, and now into the oven for 3 hours.
Okay, 3 hours. Starting now.
So we had a little change of plans. The oven didn't preheat. It wouldn't preheat. I had noticed when I went to put it in after I'd already preheated it that it was still cold enough that I could put my hand on it and it was cold. So I let it preheat for 10 minutes, watched it, it still didn't preheat. Turned it off, turned it on again at a higher temperature, let it preheat for a few minutes, didn't preheat. It's not preheating at all. The broiler is working, the stove is working, but the bake feature is not working in the oven. So I am still cooking these. We're just using the roaster instead. So I've got those on the roaster and that's how we will cook them today. I am so glad I went to cook these today. I don't often use my oven. I use a lot of the air fryer, the stove, I use a lot of things, but the oven I don't use all that often. And I've been doing these sourdough classes and for some reason I decided instead of doing it this weekend to do it next weekend. So that's fantastic. So hopefully by this weekend we will have a functioning working stove because I just ordered a new one. And anyways, I'm just glad that that didn't happen right at the time of my sourdough party because that would have been a little sad to not be able to bake the little breads. But we will look at dinner in a few hours. It has 2 hours and 10 minutes to go. Well, it's now been 3 hours of these being in here. This seems to have worked just fine. Let's see if we can kind of not burn ourselves with the steam. Looks good. I'm just wondering how I'm going to be able to get them out without making a big old mess everywhere. So let's see. I also don't know how I'm going to roast them. Wait, the broiler works. So maybe I can put them back on a cookie sheet to do the broiler. Maybe I can transfer them out of here. Let's see. They're still soft, but they're not falling off the bone like I would want them to, but that's okay. We gotta be cooked, right? Let's get some sauce on them. Okay. Under the broiler, these go for a little bit, and I need to go and see what is in the yard that I can harvest. Well, I don't know if I can even believe it, but we have some ribs. They're not as fall apart tender as they normally are, but I think they'll still be delicious. They are pulling apart from the bones. And you know, hindsight, I could have just let them stay in there for longer. I didn't even think to check to see if they were cooked all the way through. All right, yep. They are fully cooked. They look delicious. They're super tender. They're just not falling off, but how fantastic. Now, I don't know if I'm actually going to harvest. We might just eat some leftover vegetables instead, but these look good. All right, here's what I just pulled out of the garden. I still have a ton of grapes to grab, but I didn't want to grab them right now because there's so many wasps on them. So I will need to get them when it's nice and cool in the morning. I did get my first little tiny cabbage, so that's really cool. And then a little bit of peas in there and some green beans. We've been getting about this many every week. Ton of cucumbers, so I will be bringing those to work because I do not really like cucumbers, and that's a ton of cucumbers. And then I picked every tomato that was blushing, unless it was just barely yellow, and then all of the tomatillos that were ready. So there's our little garden haul of the week. It's a new day and I'm going to make some pumpkin energy bites, and I'm very excited about this. I haven't made these in, oh gosh, we can get it. I haven't made these in a year, and they were so good, and I didn't film them last year, so I need to film them. Hopefully I have enough oats because that's all the oats I have. So I am going to try to get everything out. Hopefully I remember everything. If not, no big deal. I can just, you know, get it little by little. So let's see. I am going to have to substitute. So I'm going to use carob chips instead of chocolate chips because I can't have chocolate chips this year. So let's get everything out. Okay. Okay, let's see. I think I need to first see how many oats I have and see if it's enough. So we need 2 cups. I don't know. I guess we'll do however much of this recipe that I have oats. 1. Okay, we have 1.5 cups. So we are 3/4ing this recipe, and I think the oats go in last. So hopefully I remember to cut everything down by 3/4. These were so delicious. Okay, we need 3/4 cup of peanut butter, which, you know, I think I'm not even gonna try and get a measuring cup out for that. Does that look like 3/4 cup to you? Cool. And if you're wondering, I am using a phone here. This is the cat phone. It's a phone that we bought a while ago when we moved into this house because our sprinkler system wouldn't connect to our phone, so we had to get like a step behind phone. So this is the, if we need to connect our sprinkler system, and we put cat videos on here. I don't know why I just now thought of this, but did I get chia seeds out? Yeah. But we're doing it. So that's been making it really easy. It says 2 tablespoons, so I need 1.5 tablespoons. Looks good. And then 1/4 to 1/2 cup of maple syrup. So I feel like 1/4 will be good because that's on the low end. So that means we'll be somewhere in the middle. I'm excited for these. Okay, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons. I think we're good. A little splash of vanilla. Oh, I'm excited about this. This is coming together pretty quickly too. Okay, ground cinnamon is 1 teaspoon, and then ground ginger is 1/2 teaspoon, and then cloves is a pinch. So we're gonna do a little pinch of cloves. More than a pinch of ginger, but ginger is not my favorite, so I think I'm gonna still stay a little light on that. And cinnamon, I could have just used probably pumpkin pie spice. Okay, cinnamon deserves its own little shake. Okay, clean as you go. I'm gonna put some things away. We'll get out the can opener, get the pumpkin in there, and these are going to be so delicious. And this means fall is officially here, and it is pumpkin season. So it only calls for 1/2 cup. So I need 3/4 cup of pumpkin, which means I guess I'm making a whole lot more pumpkin things in the next short while. And in the name of not dirtying a measuring cup, we'll do it this way as well. So if I need 1/2 cup, but I need 3/4 cup, let's see, that is maybe almost 1/4 cup, and then we're gonna call that good. All right, let's mix this up. All right, you guys, it's fall. I'm so excited, and there's a little tiny bit left in here that I figured would be perfect for my taste test, which, I mean, we know what this tastes like, but, oh, I haven't had it in a year. And it was with chocolate last time and not carob, so I'm like avoiding using my whole hand. Mmm. is just as good as I remembered. You guys, these are so good. I remember last year making them and being like, these are the best ones I've had. Well, making them again, yep, that's still true. These are the best balls that I've ever made. And I think it's because they're more moist. A lot of them are so like sticky peanut buttery and a little bit more dry. And even if you add more peanut butter, it's just like that like type of deal. But these with the pumpkin, it's able to like soak in a lot better. And I feel like 13 is a good amount. So I need to buy more oats. I'm looking over there because I put it back, but I don't have any more oats in the house. So I definitely need to stock up. But that's what I have for today's video. I only actually make dinner twice during the week. That's on Sundays and Mondays because that's the days my husband and I get to eat dinner together. Otherwise, I'm just like making crock pot meals, freezer meals, whatever, and then we eat on our own because we're never together. So that was the meals of the week this week. I hope you enjoyed. If you like this style of video, I will pop some more up. I've done a ton of these, either meals of the week regular or meals of the week during pantry challenge, so I will put those over there for you. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.